Education webinar. Today we call this webinar the Digital Transformation Starts a New Journey of Smart Education. And today we have two special guests. We have Marina and also Patrick. So before we start, as you know, education industry have been changed during the last year because of the coronavirus. Now the technologies influence a lot how we communicate, how our children communicate with the teacher, and how the industry is going. So today we want to touch these different points in the webinar. Before we start, I want to introduce you the two experts. So today we have Mr. Patrick Lowe. Hi, Patrick. Patrick is currently the global government industry expert at the Huawei Enterprise Business Group. He has over 18 years of ICT experience transforming solutions and ecosystems to build a better connected world. Before joining Huawei, Patrick has worked with major IT providers including IBM and HP, and he has specialized in data center and cloud computing. He is currently leading data centers and cloud computing projects and CXO is engagement in a global level with Huawei technologies. The second guest we have is Miss Marina Guerin-Jabor. Hi, Marina. So Marina has more than 30 years experience in the ICT industry, where she has led several positions, from research engineer to consultant senior manager. She was innovation leader and head of IBM Global Industry Solutions Center in Paris. She has been working with clients supporting their digital transformation processes, and she has obtained several technical patents while she has been working. While working as business development leader, Marina has immersed in the international context by leading projects in Central Europe region and also the Middle East. In the Middle East, she has established two state-of-the-art innovation and industry client centers in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. She has helped different customers to develop POC and prototyping using the latest technologies, as we know, cloud, artificial intelligence, IoT, and data analytics. Without any further introduction, today the first thing we want to touch are the trends for education. So for the trends in education, we have prepared a small introduction here, very shortly. So in the trends for education and digitalization, we have viewed three main steps. So the first step is digital. What this means connecting infrastructure. It means in the schools, in the universities, we need to interconnect the basic IT facilities, because sometimes we just have different campuses to interconnect together. The second thing is we need to upgrade our network connectivity or network connections of the equipment, so we can support different video conferencing systems and interconnection in the digitalization of the school. The second thing is the digitization. So here we touch connecting the people. We are connecting students, because now it's not like before. Before we have the teacher, the knowledge come more like one way. Now we have all these new resources, all these digital technologies that are helping the education industry. So the main idea is to have a spectrum of the campus networks. It means not only the class is being developed in the classroom. Now everything is on the network. Everything is in the mobile device. Everything is in anywhere, anytime. And we also want to optimize the service capabilities, so everyone can connect anywhere to the teacher and receive the class. And the third step is the digitalization. Here is where we use the intelligence and the data assets. So the data is maybe we unify this data, so the students can use in later, or even the teachers can analyze based what's the performance of different students and what's their strengths and their weakness. But at the same time, all these new technologies, cloud computing, SDN, big data, social network, IoT, and so on, are influencing our education. So as you can see here, the digital education demands have transformed the whole education industry. We don't have no longer passive learning. Now it's multimedia interactive teaching. no longer fixed classroom. Now we have virtual community learning, and we have everything online. So this is how they are transforming this new way to get the knowledge. There is no difficulty to find the knowledge. All the knowledge is open. We have digital libraries or even abundant resource everywhere. And no longer poor management. Before we have like, okay, everything is paperwork. Right now we have platform to identify the teacher performance, also the student performance, all integrating into Dash student dashboard. And finally, we have no longer lack of teaching resources. First, the current way is we can also record, the teacher can record the class and the students can see the class on live and also can see the class after completing the time or even repeat to reinforce their knowledge while they're learning. So how technology can help us? So let's say we have the smart digital environment. So for the smart digital environment, we have the eCloud to support all the resources that are being recorded. You need to interconnect this in the cloud, right? Because maybe you have one class today, one class tomorrow, or one class in one campus or in different campus. All the resources will be stored in this cloud that will be accessible for the students and also the teachers. Second thing is the smart campus. So what we project is like in future, maybe the class don't really need to be all in the classroom. It can be some people in the classroom, or this is even happening now. Some people in the classroom, some people are outside, inside the smart campus or the university, or even of in their houses. So this is key for the connectivity. And the third part is smart classroom. So before we only have the teacher maybe not interactive in the classroom, only maybe writing in the whiteboard. But right now we have so many digital resources that create interactive classes, for the students to interact in real time with the materials of the teacher, online response, online feedback, online surveys during the classroom. So this is special for the smart classroom. And finally, the smart devices, which we all know, okay, this smart tablet or the smartphone. And in this way, the smart education can actually be interactive, have many communities, be personalized online, and we also ubiquitous. And we don't only teach the children some way to teach them the material, but teach them how to solve problems, be more heuristic where we are teaching the materials. So all the technology is supporting this new evolution in education. Finally, this is our view of Huawei over different solutions for, let's say, the university and also schools. As you can see, we have smart classrooms, as we mentioned. Inside the smart classroom, we have hybrid learning, which is we have some smart devices inside the classroom. We have the collaborative classroom as well, which all different interactive activities can be used using these smart devices. And the digital classroom where we have maybe the cloud connectivity with different classroom at the same time. So the teacher don't need to be in one fixed classroom to teach only the students in this room, but he can actually teach several students located in different classrooms. So that's why it's important, the digitalization. The second part is the upgrade of the smart campus. So inside the university or even the schools, we will have the campus connectivity. We will have, for example, the Wi-Fi 6 connectivity to support actually the video conferencing systems, because now the video conferencing system is demanding more bandwidth. At the same time, we will have to upgrade in the schools the cloud data centers so they can also have the supporting infrastructure for to saving all those resources, all these new data. They need more storage, and they need usually to be interconnected, not only one schools, but different schools together. And finally, we have other collaborative technologies inside the offices of the teacher, and this is the basic administrative ICT technologies. There are other important technologies as the high performance computing is mainly for research, but today we won't touch this. And also there are other things interconnect several schools to the research networks. And in Huawei we have several cases actually globally, which I mentioned here. So as you can see, Huawei have presence in more than 70 countries with different universities, more than 2,600, and in more than 500,000 basic education schools. If we rank these top universities based on the QS, Huawei have projects in more than 32 of these universities. Here we can see some, for example, in China and Hong Kong, in mainland China. But we have different on other countries, but because of the non-disclosure agreement, we cannot share here. But we will be happy to talk with you if you have further, you wish to know more about our technologies and more details regarding this. So this is regarding the trends of the digitalization in the education. I want to ask Mr. Patrick and also Mr. Marina if they have some additional thinking as expert in the ICT and in education for these trends, or what's their main point of view for the future of digitalization in the education industry.
So do you want me to start?
Yeah,
ladies first.
Yeah.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm very happy to be with you in this webinar, and thank you for the introduction and the presentation. Pablo, you have touched really indeed the main trends in the education industry. I would just add that before the pandemic, the big data, machine learning, IoT were already trending. But then this pandemic crisis didn't give us really time to think, and people in education, they jumped on the distance learning without much ado, right? So from the primary school to the university. So this distance learning became our new normal. On top of that trend, that it is now a new normal, the new trend, which is the EdTech, becomes also part of this trending in the future education. And you have presented a lot of it. So you talked about the classroom, online classroom, using the distance learning. You have also presented the hybrid learning, which is the mix between face-to-face and web-based virtual learning, and the importance of that in nowadays. I would like to add also the gamification maybe, and the immersive AR and VR, in particular in higher education, because these tools can be used to conduct experimental learning, for example, to support the lab works, or even to do some simulation in the research. And finally, you also mentioned about the personalized learning and how it's important today to be able to provide personalized learning and skill-based learning. In the current system, the students actually revolve around the curriculums. In the coming very close future, and starting with this EdTech technologies and then tools, the personalized learning will evolve. The curriculums will revolve around the students, and we will be able to customize the curriculums and give them very skill-based learning. And all that, of course, using the new technologies, like you mentioned, data, etc., AI. So this is what I would like to add.
Okay, thank you. This is very good. Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. Patrick, please. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So I think both Pablo and Marina has covered quite a lot of ground in terms of the challenges, as well as the development in terms of the education industry over this period. I think there are a couple of more things that I want to kind of put to the table, and one of them would be in the area where the education has started to move towards what we call the vocational education. Right, it has always been there. Only things that the vocational education used to be teaching traditional hands-on skills like vehicle repair, air condition repair, right? This kind of skill sets to generate and have enough people to fit into the economy where they can basically do some basic stuff. But today, vocational education has really evolved into a totally different kind of skill set. Right? So we are looking at a lot of jobs that has a digital infrastructure, at the infrastructure layer. So vocational education is now evolving to people who will need to learn about autonomous vehicle rather than the traditional vehicle that we have. In terms of just repairing an aircon, we have to look at things like the entire digital building where there is a lot of users of sensors and all kind of equipment to provide capabilities like IoT, Internet of Things. So this vocational education is one area I think is starting to catch on, right? And that itself basically will lead back to what is important for industry, for the countries, for the nations to get people ready in an area where the jobs have demands a certain skill set. Right? So I think going forward itself, there is going to be expected intervention in the area of vocational education into different fields for engineering like robotics, machine learning, medical advancements, and all that. I think this is also an area that we should be paying attention to, on top of what Marina and Paulo have said very well about how do we do the remote learning in the current environment, right? And one more thing that I want to talk about in the area of remote learning is that there is a lot of people who are challenged not from the point of delivering a remote classes, but they have more challenges from how to evaluate students, how do you do a examination online. So we have an online portaling kind of like solution, but how do you prevent cheating from happening? So that is definitely on the top of mind of our educators who are administrating school systems and all that. So I think it is pretty long answer, but I think I will kind of like end with this point that this is basically an area where we are seeing a lot of changes.
Yeah, this is a key point, right? How to my children have the same problem. How to not cheat all these online exams, all these problems right now. But you also, Marina, also touched something important regarding the VR and ER. Even for the vocational, as you mentioned, there are so many new technologies. Interactive with this VR, remote. Let's say. No, sometimes even training, you have a difficulty, you have VR, AR to check with the picture. People don't really need to be there. The expert can be remotely, and the operator will be in the point.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think this new way to learn are really compatible from early stage of education to the high education. Again, it depends on the needs. So for the schools and young people, it could be kind of game. So how to introduce the knowledge to them through games, as we know all this generation very strong in gaming. And for again higher education, it could be more used indeed, to simulate research or to simulate some exercises, or even access some virtual words that they cannot access in reality. It is very important, and it requires a lot of course, strong and robust infrastructure, and that we will talk later about that.
Yeah. I have a question to ask you, Patrick, and also Marina. What are the major challenges that we face during this digital transformation in the current, education system? The last year have happened a lot. So how do you feel? What is the main challenges the universities and schools are facing?
Yeah, Patrick, you want to start? Maybe.
All right. So yeah, I will start off with saying that the current situation where we have the COVID-19 pandemic, it has actually affected education delivery all over the world. All right, and there are a lot of institutions going into remote teaching and learning. Right, but the basic building block for having a good remote teaching and learning is a good network connectivity, right? So you need to make sure you have that to function well. But remote region for probably big countries or countries that are less technology advanced will have this problem of accessibility of this education content, especially in remote area where network connectivity is basically not sufficient. All right, so satellite technology can help in some area, but I think this is still not totally comprehensive. We have to solve the problem of connectivity to to effectively have an inclusive education for the entire population. Beyond that itself, there is also this worry about the digital divide between different communities. So some communities are well versed in internet and digital equipments, but there are communities that are a little bit lagging in terms of the engagement into this digital transformation. So they may not have the equipment. So that will basically create an outcome where educators have to balance to make sure that if they are delivering a teaching, the teaching outcome is kind of like benefit everybody, right? There are other more areas I think that goes into area like security, data protection when you move into a lot of this digital remote teaching, right? Where I think we will have to look at some creative idea to make sure that security of the student, the data are basically that you collected from students from different locations are well being protected, so that you do not encroach into areas like ethics issues, moral issues. All right. So this all can be a big challenge for the education industry in these difficult times. Right.
Marina, you have any comments regarding these challenges?
Yes, I would go. So Patrick, he mentioned the very important challenges from a technical point of view, equipment point of view. I would like to touch base a challenge which is major in generally in all industries related to the digital transformation, but even more important for the education. So the whole comprehension of what does it mean digital transformation for education. First of all, digital education doesn't mean digital first, right? So I think the education institutions, public institutions, private university schools, they need to keep the education in first objective. Education is still education. The technology is only used to support these education providers with their greatest asset and experience, and to really make it effective education and agile to all circumstances, for example, or crisis, or everything we saw during the last two past years. Then the other consideration that the digital transformation cannot be delivered quickly. So that is also part of this journey. It is not buying few software on the shelf and make it running. Behind that, indeed, it needs a infrastructure. It needs people who are educated, who are enabled to use this technology and make it effective and comprehensive, and how to make for education with this technology an easy access for the student. Another thing that, for example, this digital transformation cannot be done without partners, without high equipped and skilled technology providers and ecosystem, and a full ecosystem. It has to start from the consultancy part to the implementation. And I think this is what we also can offer in that way. And make it, again, since it is a journey, it is not to be implemented at scale in once. Let's imagine a digital transformation in a huge university that would be causing a mess. So it has to start small in some areas and then test it, and then scale and get feedback from the students, but also, again, rely on expert and technological partnership and ecosystem that would, give the right advice to the education providers. So comprehension of the digital transformation in education, and then of course what Patrick mentioned, all the technical underneath infrastructure and equipment.
Okay, thank you, Marina. Thank you, Patrick. The third question is regarding how Huawei can help with different solutions to, to face this data transformation and to support customers during all difficult challenges. I believe Patrick has prepared some material, right? So,
Okay. Let me just share my screen to talk about the topic that I have prepared for today. So I hope you guys can see my screen. Okay.
yes.
All right. So let me just quickly start off without further delay. All right. Okay. Where is my? Okay. All right. So I will have basically two topics here. One will be on the wireless campus trend, and then we will go into a Huawei Cloud Campus solution. So first and foremost, the campus itself, as we already mentioned, connectivity is basically a very important aspect to the enable education to be delivered successfully. So I think when we talk about this basically connectivity, we are covering 4 key areas, right? In the school, environment like a classroom, office area, library as one aspect. The playground, which also includes a study area, right, as a second aspect. The third one will be where the students live and stay. So they are basically the dormitory. And finally is where the majority of the lessons are being carried out in lecture halls and auditorium, right? So this all kind of like a setting itself has some their own unique challenges. So the quick scan around, you will see that in a classroom, all right, there is always this problem with interference if you don't plan your solutions properly, because we have more than 30 types of applications that can be running in a classroom. All right, and then every students will have their own device, so all this can become a problem for the network connectivity. In the area of the playground, or we talk about study area, so these are usually high density. You need to have ability to support many users at the same time, and that will requires a very good type of infrastructure to support it. In the dormitory, all right, it's more towards the setup, right? So you have a lot of walls and rooms and doors, right, in the place that can affect the signal transmission. So basically, it's, when you have a wall, the signal will be severely will face severe attenuation. So therefore, you need a special solution for that. And finally, in the area of a lecture hall auditorium, right? There are, just like a classroom, you have basically a lot of interference, but the root cause of that could be because the ceiling are higher in the lecture hall, so your APs are basically sending signals field that is basically interfering with each other. Right. So we have a solution for all these 4. So we would like to call this basically solution to be the most economical for everybody. We have the Huawei Cloud Campus solution. So our Huawei Cloud Campus solution is a cloud-based solution that basically allows the operators, the school operators, to just subscribe to the solution, and they will be able to connect all the APs, access point for their Wi-Fi network, right, into the cloud, and that will be managed, controlled, and analyzed centrally. So this becomes a very cost efficient and simple to deploy solution. All right. So this kind of solution itself also take advantage of the technological advancement that the vendors has. So Huawei can support very high user access rate, right, with a very low latency. So this will basically fully meet things like the classroom, right, the lecture hall, and other use cases. The operations and maintenance of this kind of solution, the cloud campus, for the school is going to be easy because this could be a software as a service a solution. Software as a service solution itself basically to the operator means that they just pay and use the services. They do not have to be worried about the infrastructure because the vendors will take care of all those maintenance and management, all right, of those equipment, right? This basically will greatly reduce complexity for running a technical deployment, as well as make it cost effective by being a pay per use kind of model, right? In terms of deployment, we have a zero touch provisioning. So all you need to do is basically get the hardware, all right, and then power it up and start the equipment. There will be automatic network discovery, automatic device deployment, and the technical skill set required to do this will be very minimum. All right. So finally, in the whole array of things, when you want to manage and entire schools that's running on this Huawei Cloud Campus solution with all the APs, the management solution provide you AI powered intelligence to help you to optimize and remove pain points such as inefficient or insufficient operation and management capabilities in the school, right? The architecture wise, I think you have different deployment type, one for smaller environment and one for a larger or mid-sized school, where you can basically use local infrastructure like Active Directory for authentication, so that your users' data do not need to be be in the cloud. So you can actually manage your user data, all right, on your premise. So that will be cost effective and secure for the medium and large size enterprises. But if you are in a small school, we provide you the direct complete solution end to end from the cloud. So that will save you from the perspective of total cost of ownership. All right. So without talking too much, let me just go into some of the capabilities here. Once you use this kind of solution, basically there will be a cloud-based planner tool that you can basically use. So whenever you want to decide how to deploy your solution, the tool sets on the cloud itself will give you very good planning outcome. All right, and they are very fast. You just do a couple of steps. I think in our solution, just take 5 steps. You will be able to finish deployment for a campus with more than 10,000 users. Right. So this is basically a cloud based solution for you to deploy and plan your Wi-Fi deployment in the school. Right. So on top of tools like that, right, there is also ability for you to manage the environment. So once you deploy, we have an AI-powered intelligent O&M that will give you information into real-time user experience. So these are good for you to do health check and make sure every user is having a good experience in the use of the network. Number 2 is that they will also provide you ability to very quickly isolate and troubleshoot problems when they occur. All right, all the way down to minutes level, you will be able to know what is the component that is providing some problem in your environment, right? And finally, you have a one-click capability for you to optimize the deployment so that you can make you can harvest fully the benefit of this hardware that is providing you the service, right? So I will not go too much into the technical aspect on how each of these packet kind of will help you, but in general you should know that they help to basically manage your environment and give your users optimum experience. Right? So now going into the different scenario, all right, I will just want to touch on the 5 scenarios that I put up. One is on the electronic classroom, right? So for that itself, we mentioned interference as a key problem. The Wi-Fi 6 APs that is provided in the cloud campus, solution, the options here can provide you triple radio, which will give you high concurrency usage. So if you look at the chart on the on the bottom right corner, all right, you can see that if you use 3 radio, all right, your density of support goes up. So in the ordinary classroom, you can support up to 80 users in a classroom where there's a lot of electronics equipment that is functioning at the same time. You can easily support more than 50. So all this can be tested and done on site. The other benefit here is that our AP, the Air Engine 6761 and the Air Engine 5760 series, all right, they are able to allow you to switch, very quickly from dual radio to triple radio, right? So that your solution is more, catering to the operating environment, right? And that will ensure high concurrency and a smooth e-classroom experience for your students. I will not go into the specific specification of each of these. If you are interested, I think the Huawei account managers are at at arm's length to provide you all this specific specification. So going into the area of dormitory where I mentioned the main issue is with severe signal or attenuation. So for that itself, we have special APs like the Air Engine 5761 and the Air Engine 5760 series that can provide 100% coverage by having our AP be able to mount onto structures. All right, and if you are finding some blind spot, you can connect a small device we call the RU to this AP to extend the signal so that you can cover every room, right? Even though there are, it could be a very dense environment, right? In the outdoor scenario itself, where we are talking about large, area, all right, the issue here could be, the long distance, and the density of the users, all right, or congregating in a certain space like a stadium. So for that itself, we have different models of the APs, all right, or access point, like outdoor Wi-Fi AP, and they come with ability to support long distance power supply, right? So that will give you industrial grade solution that can basically be very flexible when you deploy this outdoor, and they are definitely ruggedized so that they can withstand a harsh condition as well. All right, so this type of AP will help, all right, in this use case scenario. In the area of the lecture hall auditorium, all right, we will basically talk about using small angle antenna to reduce inter-AP interference, all right, and for higher kind of like density, you can turn on the triple radio. So for that itself, we have the Air Engine 6760, 6761 series, which will provide you high density interference-free user access. So that covers the options that we have together with our cloud campus solution. Just remember, our cloud campus solution provides you cloud-based capability where the users now will only have to manage basically the deployment of the AP. The infrastructure at the back end is basically handled by the cloud computing, right, which is from the vendor like Huawei, right. If you are having a need to basically deploy some of this solution on premise with your own equipment, we also have the full end-to-end solution, including switches, different type of switches, right, that can be catering to different environment, right, and usage, right. So if you are looking at deploying a full solution itself, the Huawei will also be able to provide you a cloud campus solution with on-site infrastructure in place. So with that, I think that is my introduction and a recommendation of a good connectivity solution if you are looking at improving some of this aspect. So that's
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. Wonderful presentation. Yeah, we can see all the products. And before we go there, maybe Patrick, let me share the screen. Yeah.
Okay,
Before we go there, I would like to mention a successful case we have in Shenzhen. It's actually the university, Shenzhen University town. So in Shenzhen, it's actually several universities together in the same area, like Tsinghua University, Beijing University, they have campuses over there. And they actually unify this kind of campus, just as Patrick mentioned. So before presenting PPTs, I think a very short video we have prepared for you is the best way to understand the case. So let me play the video here.
Town of Shenzhen, we adopted Huawei Cloud Campus 3.0 solution for our campus-wide all-in-one card system. It uses big data, AI, and IoT to ensure optimal experience in canteens, dormitories, libraries, and sporting venues. In particular, VXLAN technology enables automatic configuration of network policies, accelerating service rollouts. iMaster NCE Campus efficiently identifies terminal types to secure terminal access. In short, we achieve wired, wireless, and IoT coverage. What you see now is our overall architecture of the university town of Shenzhen's network. In the middle is the core layer where we deployed Huawei's 100GE switch, S12700E, to build a rock-solid core. At the bottom is the edge router zone, through which we set up high-speed interconnections with research centers like Industry Innovation Center for Future Networks in Nanjing and National Supercomputing Shenzhen Center. At the top is the Internet Egress Zone, where we achieve high-speed interconnections with China's 3 major carriers and China's education and research network. At the auditorium, we deployed Huawei Air Engine Wi-Fi 6 AP 760DN for full coverage at the main podium, front and rear seats, and backstage. It uses brand new encoding technology and 8 spatial streams, significantly expanding transmission channels and offering 4 times higher throughput. Similar to 5G, it adopts OFDMA technology to improve spectrum utilization and deliver 4 times higher user concurrency. This guarantees wireless experience for each user, even when the auditorium is at full capacity. We also upgraded the wired network to 100 gigabit, enabling bandwidth-hungry applications such as live broadcast. The library is home to a robot librarian, which combines robotics and RFID technology to automatically collect and pinpoint book information, ensuring no book remains misplaced. It draws on Wi-Fi 6 to ensure seamless communication and upload data in real time. Due to COVID-19, many classes have gone online, and the countless video courses and online learning each day greatly strain campus wireless networks. Nowadays, we prefer to innovate through cross-disciplinary collaboration, and collaborative interaction anytime, anywhere is more frequent than ever. As a Tsinghua student, I can effortlessly access campus wireless networks and numerous learning materials even from Peking University. The shared networks break physical boundaries, enhancing communication between students of partner universities.
So as we can see, this video actually can show how we can use different technologies, right? Just some as Patrick mentioned, the key technologies for connectivity, and also something we have talked since the beginning, how interconnect different universities, and how can this be utilized in the digitalization of education. So to finalize our webinar, I would like to ask Marina, what can we expect for the future of digital education based on our talks today? What's your point of view? What will be the future? Where this will be going after the COVID-19 or in the following years?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just let's summarize, because we said it. We presented You presented, Patrick presented the trends as well, and the infrastructure. The video was very clear about how and where we are going. So the digital education solutions, they can, and everyone admitted today, so they will dramatically improve the learning process, right? So for example, they can support the relationship between the students, teachers, and drive learning breakthrough. So this is very important, from providing, for example, equity learning to everyone, interactive teaching. You mentioned it also, heuristic teaching, personalized, we talked about it, online teaching, and group learning, collaborative. So if we want to go through it quickly, we talked about the digital classroom. So this is really the future of the ed tech. Yeah, indeed. So we also mentioned the collaborative classroom, where everyone can talk together. The students, they are working in group in agile way, and in really very quick and easy discussion between teachers and student. Again, in particular in the higher education, that is very important. We also talked about the digital and the hybrid classroom. Very important. The video showed how it is important today to adopt this kind of concept and technology behind this concept. We also talked about adopting technologies like AR, VR, AI, IoT. These are very important, and also to equip the classes with actually individual equipment or collaborative equipment, like this smart board, whiteboard, interactive, intelligent, where the teachers, they can share on the board, but instantly and real time the content with the student. So for me, it is going into more collaboration. And of course, we talked about the distant learning. That is the new normal. All the technology needs to be really solid to support that, but also the collaboration and the interactivity and the real-time learning and teaching, and the relationship between the teacher and the students.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you. So do you have any final words, Patrick, regarding before we close in the webinar, for the future? What do you think is the idea for the digital transformation in education?
All right. So I think the future itself, I think we all can see is that the hybrid mode of teaching is going to be the going forward, mainly because remote learning itself breaks the socialization aspect of student. So therefore, some form of this interaction is going to come back. So we expect that to be back very soon, sooner than we expected. This itself basically will require good technological solution for us to have a seamless connectivity, so that people online and offline can have the same kind of experience, right? So that kind of technology will be very useful and helpful for everybody. And to do that, I think we have to talk about devices. So we talk about the improvement that we have seen in some smart board technology, which basically greatly improve the teaching and learning experience by enabling the multimodal kind of engagement of students involved. So those are basically will become the key enabler for good teaching experience. And finally, I think one point that we may not have touched too much, but it's also very important, is the cloud technologies. Right? So in the new normal itself, I think cloud technologies offer the ability to adopt new capabilities really, really quickly at an affordable price. So that definitely will drive changes in education institution in the way that they do their learning management, management. All right, so we have learning management systems that runs on the cloud that can help. We have ability to provision things like online laboratory, right? For examination, online portering, all right. And when you are in the cloud itself, you can very easily leverage on the power of AI. So once the AI comes in, it will basically improve every aspect, right? So including and how a teacher teaches, right, can be improved, how a student learn, all right. All this, with sufficient data will be able to be optimized and improved significantly. So that's how I see this whole aspect. The last word will be on the what we call the talent development and teachers teaching. So I guess this aspect itself is something that will be have to be undertaken by different parties, including enterprise with leading technology, so that the whole usage of technology as well as the education efficiency can be greatly improved. So that is my last point. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. So some key points maybe to close the webinar. The first thing is maybe Marina mentioned something regarding the curriculum will be more skill-based learning, and they will be transformed this for the teachers. Also, the technology is supporting the education industry during this crisis, right? And in the future, it won't see to be changing. Technology will stay there, right? To continue having online, even online, offline, hybrid classes, yeah, for teachers and students to join anywhere, anytime. Also, that Patrick mentioned is a key technologies such as cloud and also the connectivity for the campus network, including the Wi-Fi 6, are essential to support the digital transformation because of the interaction with the students inside the campuses of the schools, and also for all those materials to be uploaded in the you know in this storage on the cloud, so we can apply new platforms, new technologies, right, to understand the students and also the teachers in the classroom. Uh, Really, I thank you, Marina, and also Patrick, for joining this webinar and for your insights as an expert and all you sharing all your experience during for this education webinar. And hopefully, in the future, we will have more customers. Okay, and also if they're interested, they can actually contact us anytime. So thank you for this for joining us. And now we are going to close the webinar, but we will have a survey. Thank you for staying and have a nice day.